It's a diplomatic dispute with potentially serious implications for global trade. Tonight, that's put all the focus on a Vancouver court as Huawei executive Meng waits to hear if she will be released from prison. Day 2 of her bail hearing has wrapped, but there is still no decision. Meng was arrested December 1st during a layover at Vancouver Airport. The U.S. alleges that she violated its sanctions on Iran. American prosecutors want her extradited to face charges in the United States. Meng's detention has infuriated China and ratcheted up tensions now between Beijing and Ottawa. Katie Simpson got some insight into those conversations.
China is angry, firing fresh threats directly at Canada. You asked what kind of consequences there would be, said a foreign ministry spokesman today. I can tell you in one sentence, he said, it's totally up to Canada. The pressure has the government digging in.
We are a country of the rule of law. We live up to our international obligations, and we trust our courts to do the right things.
This was not in any way a political decision. There was no political interference, as the Prime Minister has said. None at all.
But a senior source tells CBC News that message so far is not resonating in Beijing, and it appears the Chinese government does not believe Ottawa when it says it can't step in.
There's no way to
The possibility of retaliation is making the business community nervous.
The options are essentially limitless, and that's what's very concerning about this.
Beijing regularly resorts to economic retribution to settle political scores. In 2010, it banned Norwegian salmon imports after a Chinese dissident was awarded the Nobel Prize. In 2017, it took on South Korea by banning Chinese tourists from group excursions to that country after a dispute over an anti-missile system.
This cost South Korea reportedly $5 billion, given that tourism is such a significant driver there. So that's another example of something that could happen.
Leaders from Canadian industries that export to China, including canola farmers, lobster fishers, and pork producers, all tell CBC News they have not been threatened, nor have they seen a change in business. But they're watching every development closely.
Canada's plan to start free trade talks with China will likely slow or pause because of this incident. Those kinds of discussions require high-level cooperation, and there isn't much of that happening right now. Katie Simpson, CBC News, Ottawa. Now, Meng's bail could come down to who vouches for her. The Crown says she's a flight risk. Her husband promises she isn't. Briar Stewart has the view from the court.
A great company like Huawei, we love you. We want to make our voice over here.
It was part community rally, part media circus whenever court in the bail hearing for Meng Wanzhou was on break.
If Canada let her go to US, so yeah, I think her life would be in risk.
As the high-powered Chinese executive sat in the prisoner's box again today, an even larger crowd turned out to watch, including this woman who knows Meng personally.
She's a very good person, very low-key. So I think the Huawei, all the leadership, they all have a very good, a good reputation.
Meng's lawyer said if she's released, she would hire a private surveillance firm. The owner testified that 2 security officers and a driver from his company would escort her wherever she goes. She would also be required to wear an electronic monitoring bracelet. Legal experts say given Meng's personal circumstances, bail would likely be very high.
Because she's not ordinarily resident in the country, the judge, in my opinion, would require that the accused deposit a substantial amount of money.
Meng's husband, who was also in court today, said he would be willing to put up $1 million cash, as well as their 2 Vancouver homes, for a total of $15 million. None of it satisfied the Crown, who wanted to see a $7.5 million cash bail and worried that the electronic monitoring system could be hacked. I'm not suggesting that this would happen, he said, but I'm saying that there would be the potential ability to compromise the system, given he says that Meng is the CFO of a telecommunications giant.
The judge didn't make a decision on bail today because there's still one outstanding issue. Meng's lawyer wanted her husband to act as a surety, basically someone that would ensure she would abide by bail conditions. But he isn't a resident of BC, and it's not clear whether he could remain in the country throughout the entire extradition process, which could take years. Briar Stewart, CBC News, Vancouver.